Hey everybody, this is Mama Ro coming to you from Chicago. Hope you're having a good day, good morning, good evening, whenever you are watching this video. Just coming on today, want to talk about some things that was on my mind that I heard in the YouTube world, in the news. There's a whole lot going on right now, with everyone. So I hope everybody is doing well on today. First thing I want to mention and talk about is the MGM resorts that have laid off around or over 18,000 people due to the lack of, reservations, the lack of activity, people coming into the different resorts, and so they had to lay off people. And so, it's a lot of that going around. So many companies that have had to lay off people, or some people call it putting them on furlough. But, and then so many millions have applied for unemployment. It's a whole lot going on. It's a lot going on. And we just want to be encouraged the best way we know how to be. And then don't forget to encourage somebody else. We're going to make it through this task that we're faced with. We're going to make it. And so also I want to discuss and talk about John Gray. I was like, not again, John Gray. Who is John Gray? John Gray is a pastor. He's a pastor of I guess you can call it what do you call them, mega churches now, the big churches. And he's pastoring in the South. And he used to be a comedian. I remember when John Gray used to do comedy, he was so funny. I used to crack up laughing at him all the time. But now he's a pastor. He's been pastoring, I think it's been under 10 years or something like that. He's married with two children. But he keeps getting caught up some kind of way with these women. This is like the third time I've heard of John Gray having an affair. I'm going to say allegedly, but more than likely it's true. But anyway, I'm going to say allegedly just to keep it legal. I saw him. I said, what is he talking about? He was preaching, teaching, and he kept saying, we have struggles. And the whole sermon was about struggles. So I'm like, he's still struggling with messing around with these other women. And every woman that he allegedly have struggled with all said the same thing, that he said that he was going to leave his wife, divorce his wife. I mean, if his marriage is that bad, maybe it's time to take that next step. And I know his wife, I'm just imagining, I don't know her personally, of course, just imagining the embarrassment. Here we go again with John. Like I said, this is about the third time I've heard of him messing around. And this lady, the last lady, called in, she emailed Tasha K, one of the big bloggers on YouTube, and told her story. Ooh, and I was looking at Tasha K that particular day, and this lady, Tasha, also called this lady, and the lady told how she met John Gray, and how it went from one thing to another. Originally, John Gray her brother. Her brother just lost his wife, and the lady was reaching out to John Gray to thank him for being so kind to her brother, and it went from there. Now, I don't know how and this lady, she's about 48 years old. I'm like, girl, come on now. And of course, John Gray told her the same thing. I'm going to leave my wife. And he loves looking at the women's breasts. Let me see your breasts, what size you wear. You remember your breast man. I'm pretty sure he is. And so, it's just one thing after another. But it's like when he was preaching this sermon about struggle, it's like he wanted to confess, but he did not confess. When we hide our sins, or try, because you can't hide your sin from God, as you all know that. But when you try to cover up, you just make it worse. So I was like, Lord, here we go again with John Gray. So, I just pray that he get himself together. And yes, he's going to be talked about because he keeps doing it, the same thing over and over again, you know. And so then I heard about Creflo Dollar, Pastor Creflo Dollar. Now, when I heard about Pastor Creflo Dollar, I was like, no. Well, allegedly, we gonna say allegedly, because we gonna keep it legal. Allegedly, Pastor Dollar had sex with this man for 4 hours. Some man he had sex with for 4 hours. According to what I've heard, and so that's why I'm saying allegedly again, allegedly again, allegedly again. According to what I've heard, this pastor, female pastor, called Pastor Dollar to to put in a loan for money, to loan her some money so she can build her church. In exchange, Pastor Dollar asked that she send her musician to him. And allegedly, they had sex for 4 hours. And then Pastor Dollar is what you call a bottom man. And so, yeah, exactly. Now, this is another story that I heard on Tasha K. She broke the story. Someone called and talked to her, but you know, she wasn't sure about this story. She said, I don't know about this. I don't know, so I don't want to say anything. I'm not going to say anything until I talk to the person that supposedly have had this sex with Pastor Dollar. So she left it alone. She just left Tasha K just left the story alone because she wasn't sure about it. You know, she probably get emails from people, calls from people all day long. You can't trust everything people are saying. And she knows that. She's been in the game long enough to know that, and she does. Well, this young man on Facebook by the name of Ramon, he came out with a post saying that talking about Tasha K, saying that she was talking about him and that she needs to take his name out of her mouth. And she was like, I never said Ramon's name. As a matter of fact, I tried calling Ramon to see if I can get in contact with him. He never returned the call. So she left the story alone. But then here he comes, Ramon come out running his mouth, saying that she was wrong and that she blah, 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 blah. So I went to Facebook, yes I did, and I saw his post. And I saved it, but all of a sudden it disappeared. So this young man named Ramon, he has a hard last name, Riggai, R-I-G-G-A-I. I think that's how you spell it. So I don't know if that is this young man, and Tasha wasn't sure about it, so that's why she didn't say anything. But then when the young man came out with the story, she started talking about it. So somebody told this young man about Tasha, inquiring about the affair that he had with Pastor Dollar, allegedly. Wow. Then you have Sweetie Pie. That was the reality show on Miss Robbie, the owner of, they was on this Oprah Winfrey network, as you guys already know. And Miss Robbie is she is the restaurant owner of Sweetie Pie. She has a son named Tim. He works with her. This is really just such a sad story because Tim allegedly had his nephew killed. Okay, had one of his nephews killed that was working with Miss Robbie. Had come from Texas, and Tim is in jail now. There's like 3 people supposed to be involved. There's insurance agent who is charged with insurance fraud because Tim had created all these insurance life policies on his nephew. There's a stripper that's involved that supposedly had lured his nephew to the car and then he was shot. It's just a sad situation. So far, Miss Robbie is just asking everybody to just keep her family in prayer, and that's what we're going to do. It's just such a sad situation. Lastly, we are still waiting for our second stimulus check, and as of right now, Congress and the Senate have not come to an agreement, and so we're still waiting for our second stimulus check, which would be about $1,200. Now, for those who are unemployment, they are pushing to do the stimulus for the unemployed. That's the $300 a week. It went from $600. That stopped back in July. Then Donald Trump passed. God would say, Pastor Trump, Lord have mercy. Oh no. Oh, no. No. President Trump did an executive order of $400, but that didn't go anywhere. So now this down to $300 again per week. This is for those who are currently collecting unemployment. For everybody else, still waiting on them to agree on the second stimulus check. So we'll see what happens. All right, that's all that I have for today. Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe to this channel. Again, this is Mama Ro coming to you from Chicago. Take care.